What is up everybody, I'm Fox at Foxy Games UK, your regular aggregate source of news, rumour and video game discussion. Casual and core gamers interested in the latest game news and rumour with an emphasis on PlayStation but spanning a variety of platforms. Go ahead, follow me via Twitter at FoxyGames_UK. All relevant links can be found in this video's description. Okay, so in our first news talking point, we are close to the month of August, and both Microsoft and Sony have announced the games you'll be getting as part of membership entitlement via Games with Gold and PlayStation Plus. So it's time to look at which offering is the better value for gamers, looking at several areas for comparison: price, value, games review scores and the age of the games on offer, starting with Games with Gold and price. Now, Games with Gold's August 2017 offering is 4 games as always, 2 Xbox One games and 2 Xbox 360 titles, which are also playable on the Xbox One via backwards compat. On Xbox One you're getting Slime Rancher and Trials Fusion, and on Xbox 360 you are getting Bayonetta and Red Faction Armageddon. Now, in terms of value, let's look at what each game is worth. So for the 8th month of 2017, you are getting approximately $90 in value in free games with Games with Gold. It's pretty even across the board, with most of the titles being around $20. Red Faction for some reason is still $30 digitally. However, there are a few caveats. As always, that is only the value of the games digitally, as some of these games can be obtained cheaper at retail and digital prices are sometimes higher than what you would normally find in the retail stores. Overall though, it's a pretty good month for value in terms of Games with Gold. Now let's look at PlayStation Plus in terms of price. As usual, you get 6 free games, with 2 on the PlayStation 4, 2 on the PlayStation 3 and 2 on PlayStation Vita. However, one of the games on the PS3 and Vita are both cross-buy with PS4, so you'll actually be getting 4 free PS4 titles in August. Now also, don't forget, if you still haven't picked up the fun party game That's You, which is available on PS4 until October. Now on the PS4 you get both Just Cause 3 and standalone Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry. On PS3 both Snakeball and Super Motherload, which is also cross-buy with PS4, are both free. On the Vita both Level 22 and Downwell, another cross-buy with PS4, are also available. PlayStation Plus in August is giving you around $132 worth of free games if you still count That's You. Even if you take that out, you're still getting $112 in value, which is incredibly good. So another spectacular month for PlayStation Plus membership in terms of value, as you are getting a total of 7 games with over $100 in value. Now the biggest contributor here is Just Cause 3, which is remarkably still $60 digitally. Now the weakest factor continues to be the Vita games, offering only a total of $11 combined. Regardless, when you get over the double the price you pay for a year of PlayStation Plus in 1 month, it's actually a really good month. So when looking at the value of both services in August, PlayStation Plus beats Games with Gold again with $130 to around $90 comparison. Once again, both are still giving you more than you would pay a year for the services, so you're still getting excellent value regardless. So you have to give it to PlayStation Plus. Now, looking at what each service is giving you in terms of money value, but are the games any good? In this area, we're really going to look at how each game was received critically and see which lineup comes out on top. Now, using Metacritic to pull the scores from and for multi-platform games this gen, gaming used the platform that had the most review scores. However, for the games that are only scores of a PC version, they were not used, as PC versions can differ greatly from console versions. So looking at the games with the gold lineup is actually a lot better than what we saw last month. Slime Rancher has yet to be released, so for now it has a no score, but it will be updated as soon as it does. Now Trials Fusion has a 79 score, while Bayonetta scored a whopping 90 average score. The lowest one here is Red Faction Armageddon, which is only 71, but still good. Averaging those 3 games give you around an 80 average score in terms of Metacritic, which is great, and a nice rebound from the 69 we had in July. Now let's look at PlayStation Plus. PlayStation Plus in August continues with a 74 average overall, which is a good score. Overall, the games kind of scored all over the place. The PS4 games scored in the low 70s, while the Vita games both scored in the mid 80s. PS3 offerings really hurt the average as both were in the mid-60s this month. So far this year, PlayStation Plus has had a 74, 72, 76, 63, 70, 71, 73 and now a 74 for August. So when comparing both, Games with Gold walks away with around a 6-point win in this area. Now it also is a little bit unfair in this area for PlayStation Plus, though, as they are typically having more than 2 games in Games with Gold, which does affect the average somewhat. Now the same can be said about Games with Gold in the value area, though, as PlayStation Plus has more games, so the value has a better chance of being higher. As always, it is up to the gamer to decide how much of each game that they actually like. Once again, we'll be looking at and comparing how new are the games that each service is offering. Some games really prefer to get the new releases on the system, gamers rather, versus older games. So we like to look at when each of these areas comes out on top and which is better. Looking at the Games with Gold lineup, you are getting a brand new game in Slime Rancher, Trials Fusion, which is over 3 years old, Bayonetta, which is around 7 years old, and Red Faction Armageddon, around 6 years old. PlayStation Plus lineup, you're getting Just Cause 3, which is just a year and a half old, and Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, which is about 3.5 years old. That's You is just a month old, Snakeball is 9.5 years old, and Super Motherload is almost 4 years old. And finally, Level 22 and Downwell are just a little over a year old. So when comparing both lineups, I think PlayStation Plus continues to give the newer games. PlayStation Plus is giving you one game that is almost 10 years old, but everything else is less than 4 years old, with 4 of them ranging from less than a year to little over a year old. Games with Gold is giving you a brand new game, but then it's also giving you 2 games that are 6 and 7 years old. Again, this area might not mean anything to you in terms of game age, but some gamers like getting newer games for free, as there is a lesser chance that they would have played them or even owned them still. PlayStation Plus continues to be the leader in this area, having won all 8 months in 2017. Now in August 2017, PlayStation Plus comes out as the overall winner with a 2-1 over Games with Gold in the compared areas. PlayStation Plus has better value and newer games, while Games with Gold has a better review average. All of this doesn't really mean anything because it's all subjective, although, as always, it's up to each gamer to decide which lineup is better for their individual tastes. But be sure to let us know in the comments which lineup you think is better in August. Now in somewhat related news, a PlayStation Plus price increase was just announced via newsletter by Sony across Europe and the UK. European countries will see a PlayStation Plus price increase from Euro 49999 to 59.99, while the United Kingdom will see, in terms of pounds, a rise from 39.99 to 49.99. That's for annual subscriptions, of course. The quarterly subscription will be increased from 19.99 euros to 24.99 euros in Europe, and from around £15 to £20 in the UK. The monthly subscription is also being raised from around €7 to €8 in European countries, and from around £6 to £7 in the UK. Now the question is, will Sony also increase the value of PlayStation Plus by improving the free games and providing bigger discounts? Well, judging by the information I gave you prior to this news piece, July and August PlayStation Plus game offerings, they're pretty good, and I'm sure we'd all like to believe Sony are increasing the game's quality as they have increased in terms of the price and the hike. Also, the North American pricing had already been increased within the last 12 months, so a hike is unlikely in that region, but what do you think? Let us know in the comments. And finally, combined Xbox One and PC sales of the long-running zombie franchise Dead Rising 4 still hasn't shipped over 1 million copies. Capcom's Dead Rising 4 is still currently a timed Xbox One/PC exclusive that launched in December 2016, some 8 months ago. A PS4 version is set for release this holiday, and now we know the updated sales figures of some of Capcom's games thanks to Capcom's Platinum Titles list, which is pretty much a list of Capcom titles that are nearing 1 million or have shipped over 1 million units. Now it is updated after every quarter when Capcom reveal their financials for the previous quarter, which ended on June 30th, 2017. It's an interesting piece of information as it keeps us informed when a Capcom title has made it past the 1 million shipped copies line. One game in particular that we've been tracking is Dead Rising 4, which never made it to the 1 million mark when it updated the first time since release of the game. It looks like the release of DLC content and the launching on Steam has done nothing to reach that mark, as once again Dead Rising 4 has failed to reach the 1 million shipped standard that is needed to be featured as a platinum title. It looks very unlikely that it will until a PS4 version is released, and depending on how much it's sold. Even then it could be tricky for Dead Rising 4, which released too much criticism. This is also way below the series best at 3 million shipped for Dead Rising 2. Capcom's other title, Street Fighter V, made a small climb up the platinum titles list with a move from 1.6 million to 1.7 million software units sold since a previous quarter update. It's been a very slow move for Capcom after its initial launch earlier last year, but it at least climbed enough to make it to the 1.7 million shipped mark. With so-called niche titles such as Atlas and Sega's Persona 5 having already topped 1.8 million and just on the PS4 and just within 8 weeks, not to mention Nintendo's, why wasn't it a pack-in launch title, 1-2 Switch exclusive, sold around 1.2 million copies on Nintendo Switch alone, again with just several weeks on sale, and a Switch install of almost nothing compared to the estimated 27 to 30 million Xbox One install base. Now, looking at the state of play from that perspective, we can say with certainty Xbox One game sales have been disastrous on that platform and the units that are out there, but quite candidly only a minority of Xbox fans are supporting its games. 1-2 Switch should not be outselling a 10-year-old globally known franchise such as Dead Rising, which across 5 million consoles sold, that's the Switch, with 4 months and with supply constraints. Let's be honest, Nintendo cannot get enough of them on the shelves. Nintendo Switch is performing phenomenally. With a 0 install base at the time, 1-2 Switch wasn't or isn't exactly on the top of every Switch owner's must-have list, yet it outperformed Capcom's Dead Rising 4. Let us know your thoughts on the recently updated platinum titles for Capcom. Do you think both Capcom and Microsoft made a huge mistake with Dead Rising 4 exclusivity? Kind of like, Crystal Dynamics and the whole Rise of the Tomb Raider scenario on Xbox One. Be sure to share your thoughts in the video comments. And that brings us to the end of another video. As usual, if you found any of the information in this video at all useful, go ahead and hit the like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe and share the video. You can also help us grow by supporting via Patreon, starting from just $1. You'll find the link in this video's description. Don't forget the Gamer Couch podcast on Sunday, 12 PM PT, 3 PM ET and 8 PM BST. And this will probably be the last video this weekend as I'll be away, but I'll see you all on Sunday. So always remember, play games, not corporations. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching, everybody.